My name is Miguel Ángel Medina Torres, and I'm going to share with you some reflections on the topic advances in the use of the model of flipped classroom with collaborative learning as a helpful tool to study metabolism. We are a group working at the University of Malaga in Spain. In slide 2, you will find the abstract of our communication. Slide 3, we summarize the change in the educational paradigm process from a teacher-centered to a student-centered approach. That is equivalent to a transition from teaching to learning with new active pedagogical methodologies, including those that will be here discussed: flipped learning, collaborative learning, and problem-based learning, among many others. Some comments on the flipped learning pedagogical model start in slide 4. Flipped learning is a pedagogical approach in which direct instruction moves from the group learning space to the individual learning space, and the resulting group space is transformed into a dynamic, interactive learning environment where the educator guides students as they apply concepts and engage creatively in the subject matter. In slide 5, we underscored that in the flipped learning model, both lecture and homework deliberately switch places, and at the same time, the roles of instructors and student changes. So in the flipped learning, the information to be learned is received electronically to proceed with homework, and the classroom is transformed in a space in which students are full protagonists of their learning approach, and the professor plays a role of a guide. In slide 6, we provide two lists of which we consider to be the main pedagogical strengths of a flipped inverted class model, and which are its main weaknesses. Slide 7 shows that flipped learning is just a special type of blended learning methodology. In the slide, we show 4 of the most popular approaches of this blended learning methodology, including peer instruction, just-in-time teaching, team-based learning, and flipped classroom. Of course, combination of 2 or more of these different blended learning approaches can be possible. In slide 8, the combined blended learning methodology approach, that is flipped classroom with just-in-time teaching, is highlighted. As shown in this slide, this methodology has 4 differentiated steps that are carried out in a continuous interaction between teachers and students, both outside and inside the classroom. This kind of approach allows 2 important things to be combined. On the one hand, to be able to advance in the program without losing time, and on the other hand, for students to work actively and do exercises that help them to increase their understanding under the supervision of the teacher. In slide 9, we mentioned that the interest in flipped learning methodologies is growing day by day. And we mention especially the impressive work carried out by Professor Brent Stockwell since he joined the Columbian Center for New Media Teaching and Learning in the summer of 2013. From slide 10, we focus on collaborative learning. In this slide, we mentioned that collaborative learning is grounded on social constructivism, which considers learning a social process that is built not only with the teacher, but also with peers, the context and meaning of what is learned. The learning approach not only favors the academic performance of students, but also allows them to acquire important transversal competences that are very useful in their professional development. Slide 11 shows the 5 features that characterize an efficient collaborative learning approach. The first one is a positive interdependence. The second one is individual and group accountability to avoid free riders' effect. The third one is an appropriate use of social skills. The fourth one is promotive interactions. And finally, the fifth one is group processing with critical self-evaluation of the work carried out within the group. We should be aware that collaborative learning is an appropriate method to achieve certain skills, achievement of goals, but it does not work for everything. In slide 12, we make some reflections on this topic. In slide 13, we comment that an effective collaborative learning demands new skills and more effort from the teacher than providing usual master classes. Moreover, many teachers find it difficult to use this model of collaborative learning without affecting the projected syllabus for their students. This problem could be alleviated by associating this collaborative learning approach with methodologies like those offered by flipped learning. In slide 14, we provide some comments on problem-based learning, PBL. PBL is an alternative methodology which emphasizes that the students take a more active part in their learning process, with teachers playing a more facilitating role. PBL can be used as a powerful strategy of collaborative learning. However, the lack of a sufficient number of cases of all projects to be applied to teaching by means of this tool is a fact, accentuated in the case of one of the most complex topics of study for the students of biochemistry, such as the regulation of the metabolism and its integration. Part of the co-authors of this communication are actively engaged in teaching metabolism in the undergraduate level at the University of Malaga. Biochemistry, and in particular metabolic regulation, is perceived by students as a very demanding and difficult discipline. This means that many students show a certain detachment that translates into a delay in facing their study, even in some cases to temporary abandonment of it. Although there are undoubtedly multiple causes behind this problem, better pedagogical preparation of teachers and the use of PBL as learning teaching strategy could help not only to offer a more integrated vision of metabolism and its regulation, but an increase in the interest of students for the subject. Since years ago, we are using collaborative and flipped learning strategies to increase the role of our students in the process of their own learning. To achieve this aim, our use of PBL has been essential. In slide 16, we provide some very preliminary results of our efforts to introduce these alternative pedagogical methodologies in the teaching of metabolism in undergraduate courses of metabolism and regulation of metabolism. We use the framework of a learning contract, which revealed to be a very efficient tool to increase our students' loyalty to the subject and hence to increase their attendance to the exams. In slide 16, we provide the workflow used in our works related with collaborative and flipped learning using PBL in the framework of a learning contract. Up to now, we have developed extended PBL cases to guide our students' self-learning of important blocks of the contents of a metabolic biochemistry, such as the regulation of glycogen metabolism, the 4 Krebs cycles, and OXPHOX. Finally, slide 17 is the last one and is a repetition of the first slide that we used here just to say you thank you for your attention and to send you our best regards from Malaga. Hopefully we could soon meet again, this time in person, in fantastic and beautiful Florence. Thank you very much for your attention.